Hello. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Leslie and Corey.
Hello everybody.
We broadcast on CIVL on 101.7 FM across the Fraser Valley from the unceded territory of the Stolo Nation. And you can also catch the podcast if you can't get the radio show live, then you can listen to the podcast on all the major podcasting platforms. And if you're really into it, you can actually join us in the chat room, because we pre-record the show and we have a live chat room during that time in the Awaken Your Psychic Abilities Facebook group and in my YouTube channel, which is Dr. Leslie Phillips.
I didn't realize it was a chat room.
I like to think of it as a chat room.
Oh, I didn't think it was.
Yeah. And also the podcast is available on drlesliephillips.com as well. And Unlocking Your Truth is a talk show about metaphysics and spirituality, which we've been doing now for about 7 years. And that means that there is an enormous library of information that is available to listen to. So if you go to my website and you go to the podcast and you search on something metaphysical that you're interested in, I can almost guarantee that you will find some episodes of Unlocking Your Truth that cover what you're interested in.
Indubitably.
So, well, tonight's show is about the third eye, and we've been doing another mini-series relating to some of the subject matter in my book, which is called Intuition and Chakras. It's published by Llewellyn, and you can get it on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and IndieBound, all from Llewellyn. And that book talks about psychic abilities, and it talks about all the many different kinds of psychic abilities, and it takes you on a journey through your chakra system from the perspective of the chakras as being communication channels and channels for extrasensory perception. So tonight's episode, we're talking about the third eye, and the third eye is relating to your sixth chakra, and your sixth chakra is also called your brow chakra. So it's situated in the center of your forehead.
Is that for me too?
Is that for you too?
Yeah, because my brow goes all the way across. So this is third. I guess I couldn't see out my third eye.
It's called the brow chakra, but it's in the center of your forehead. So it's not in between your eyebrows. And if you've got a unibrow, it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Right. Yeah. So your third eye relates to your sixth chakra, which is positioned in the center of your forehead. And the chakra is a swirling vortex of energy. And if you look at it from the front, it looks like a Catherine wheel. If you look at it from the side, it looks like a sideways funnel. And that energy center goes all the way through your head. And the third eye is in the center of your head, and it's actually located where the pineal gland is. And Corey has been frantically waving to me. So
What is a Catherine wheel? Oh, lost. We lost everything from my question. We lost in voice, Leslie. If you could just repeat.
I know
that.
You froze. Okay, so you'll have to cut that part out then.
Sure, but you could repeat yourself if you want. Oh, it's already, everybody else heard you, I guess.
Yeah, everybody else heard me. They heard me on Facebook, in the chat room on Facebook. So, okay, I'm going to repeat myself then. So tonight's show is about the third eye.
No, just the Catherine wheel. Everything else we got.
Well, a Catherine wheel was just a simple metaphor for explaining what a chakra looks like.
Yes, but I don't know what a Catherine wheel is.
I know. If you look at a chakra from the front, it's like a spinning colored wheel. A Catherine wheel is a firework that goes round like that.
Yes, now I know what you're talking about.
I wish I hadn't said it now. Because it's not really got anything to do with anything. But, okay, so if you're looking at the front of a chakra, then it's like a spinning disc. And if you're looking at the side of a chakra, then it looks like a spinning funnel. So your sixth chakra looks like a spinning disc or a spinning funnel that goes through the center of your forehead. And it continues through your head. And it continues through the center of your head. And the center of your head is known as the third eye. Why? Because this is where your pineal gland is. And the pineal gland is, in esoteric or metaphysical circles, it is known as a seat of the soul. It's one of the seats of the soul in Western tradition. In Eastern tradition, it's called the upper dantian. And it is a place where you, the spiritual consciousness, can sit within your physical system. So it's called the third eye because it contains photoreceptor cells. It is a gland that is a receptacle for light. And scientists don't know a lot about that gland, but they do know some things about it. And so it is involved in the sleep-wake cycle. It produces melatonin, and it detects if it's daylight or if it's time to sleep. But esoterically speaking, you, the high vibration being, you are light. And the pineal gland is a receptacle for you, a place where you can sit within your body and experience yourself as spirit while in the human form. And so it is one of the ancient mysteries to be able to understand the pineal gland, to be able to understand the center of your head, and to be able to really understand how to consciously use and operate your clairvoyance. So it was known about in the ancient mystery teachings. And if you Google pineal gland and eye of Horus, you'll find all sorts of diagrams that show you the eye of Horus superimposed over those structures in the brain. As the ancient Egyptians knew about the pineal gland, and they knew to seat their consciousness there. So when you focus yourself, your energy in the center of your head, you're activating that pineal gland, and you are activating your clairvoyance. It is the seat of the soul. It is the seat of your ability to see as spirit. And so clairvoyance is such a precious gift, because one of the things that it does for you is it gives you neutrality. As spirit, you are neutral. As your body personality self, you tend not to be neutral, because you are dealing with your emotions, you're dealing with your intellect, you're dealing with aspects of the ego. So it's so common for us humans to be in a state of judgment, whether that's judging somebody else, judging yourself, feeling critical about something. And in fact, in a way, the role of the intellect is to be quite critical, to put things in boxes, you know, to be able to understand them. But it gets us into trouble, right? when we're constantly in a state of judgment and non-acceptance. But if you can learn to seat your consciousness in your pineal gland, in your third eye, and operate using your clairvoyance, then you become the neutral observer of your reality. Okay, so you can witness what's going on in your life. You can observe yourself, your life creations from a state of neutrality and non-judgment. And why is that important? It's important for a number of reasons. One reason is, usually when we judge something, we don't like it and we wish it would change, but you can't change it while you're still in judgment of it. You need to accept it. So being in the center of your head allows you to change things you want to change in your reality, because it immediately puts you into a state of acceptance of what is. But also, if you're somebody who wants to develop your psychic abilities and wants to be able to give people the gift of a clairvoyant reading, then they're going to have a much better experience if you are neutral with them, as opposed to superimposing any judgments that you might have. So the pineal gland, the third eye, the center of your head, is this very, very precious place that you can sit and have that gift of neutrality. It also helps you to focus in the present moment, just like grounding does, because it focuses your energy in your body, and your body is in the present moment. And so when you're in the center of your head, you are in the here and now, and you're focusing your energy in the here and now. And that makes you a very powerful presence and a powerful creator of your own life. So the less connected you are with your body, the more diffuse your energy, the less powerful you are, the less connected with the reality that's going on around this body. So I've talked a lot about the pineal gland and the fact that it gives you the gift of clairvoyance. Well, what is clairvoyance apart from being able to see things from neutral? Well, it allows you to see as spirit. It allows you to see energy. So if you seat your consciousness in your pineal gland, then that starts to activate that ability where you can see energy, where you can see auric fields, where you can see the chakras spinning, where you can see your spirit guides, where you can see other kinds of energy phenomena. So being able to look in somebody's energy field and see different packages of energy and information that they've stored in their energy field, which could look like a symbol, which could look like a picture, a little movie, a little memory, a little vignette. And it also enables you to see geometric patterns, to connect into mathematical formulae. And all of these things contain information that the clairvoyance allows you to unpackage and translate into meaning.
I think there's a lot. I think, when you look at pictures that pertain to the third eye that people are showing, I think it can be a bit of a misnomer. I mean, when you look at what they're saying it's actually a third eye. It's there, but it really, it's just like every other chakra. There's no third eye there. There's nothing that's
There is.
seeing.
But that's what I was just explaining.
No, what I mean, but what I'm saying is there is, like, people think that when you look at movies, the third eyes come out, right? And I think people are looking at if they don't have some sort of a physical semblance of a third eye on their forehead, or have something pinned to, like the bindi that the Indian people wear to represent the third eye, but it's always there. It's always there. It's always present, whether you know it or whether you don't know it. It's present.
The chakra is there.
Yeah.
In the center of your forehead. It's not the same as other chakras in the sense that it's associated with this endocrine gland called the pineal gland in the center of your head, which is the seat of the soul. Some of the other chakras are associated with similar things, but not all of them. So, for example, there's another seat of the soul near the heart chakra. But what's special about the sixth chakra is that it is associated with the center of the brain, the pineal gland, and that area in the center of the brain where the pineal gland is, it is the control center of the brain as well. So you have it's the hypothalamus and thalamus area, which really is this information exchange center of the brain. So I'd say, yeah, it is like other chakras, it is a conduit for spiritual information. But unlike any of the other chakras, this is, when I am training people in their psychic abilities, it's really important for them to be able to sit in the center of their head. Because in my opinion, if you can't do that, it's really hard for you to be a really good psychic reader, because you can sit in any other chakra and you will not get that level of neutrality. And you also, that level of neutrality gives you a kind of protection, because if you sit in the heart chakra, then you're more likely to go into sympathy and merge with somebody, for example. And so the neutrality is really, really important. Anyway, listeners, you've been listening to Unlocking Your Truth, and we're talking about the pineal gland and the third eye on today's show. Welcome back, listeners. Welcome to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Leslie and with Corey. Talking about the third eye. And I would like to invite people to ask me questions about the third eye. I think that would be great if you would like to do that.
Do we all have the same color third eye? I had to ask.
So I see lots of different colors in lots of different chakras all the time. Your chakras are, in a way, they're also serving as information processing centers. And so you are processing information, integrating information, accessing information, going through different things in your life at any one time or another. And so you can be using different vibrations through all of your energy centers. And so traditionally, the idea is that the color of the sixth chakra is indigo. From my clairvoyant sight, I often see really many other colors. and they allow me to read that person's sixth chakra and understand what kind of a sixth chakra growth cycle is happening for them.
What's the fastest way to activate your sixth chakra, your third eye?
So two answers to that. One is learn to center, and there is a free downloadable meditation on my website that teaches grounding and centering, because if you can focus your conscious awareness in the center of your head, that will start to stimulate and activate your sixth chakra. But the other part of it is get out of your own way. And we are so trained to operate from our intellect that causes people a lot of issues in this practice of centering. So get out of your own way. You have to unlearn some of the ways that you've learned of being. And also, maybe the third thing I would say about that is to let go of your baggage, basically heal yourself. So the more that you can heal yourself, the more that you can cleanse and clear your energy system, then, and the higher your vibration, the easier it is for you to activate and use your third eye and deliver information in a very clear fashion. So the more that you've bunged up your energy field with energy from the past, pain, trauma, different things, then that can interfere. But like I said, so can a tendency to rely on the intellect, because the intellect causes you to doubt. So can having expectations of what the clairvoyance should be like. So there are many things that cause us to get in our own way. And my Unlock Your Intuition course is a really good course that addresses actually all those ways that we get into our own way. Because one of the things is, you don't just learn to center once and go, oh, well, I've done it now. You have, it's a daily practice of meditating and of training yourself to hold your consciousness in that way. And that course teaches you that, but also deals with the 7 main ways that we interfere with ourselves. And one of them is tending to sit in our intellect instead of the center of our head. Another is allowing our emotions to rule. Another is going into effort. Another is having expectations. Another is being afraid, and so on. So there are different common things that people do that interfere with them activating and benefiting from the power of their clairvoyance by seating their consciousness in their third eye.
Thank you. These are a couple of redundant questions. Amanda says, could someone's third eye look different?
Could somebody's third eye look different? I would say everybody's third eye looks unique to them. So we're not a bunch of clones, are we? Every single one of us is completely different. And every single one of your chakras is completely different to mine. Not in the sense that we have these 7 main chakras, but in the sense of what you're going through in your life and what's being processed through your chakras is different than mine. And therefore your chakras look different because they are unique to you and unique to what's going on in your life.
Thank you. Lorraine asked this question just as you were explaining it. Do you use meditation to get into the third eye?
Yes, absolutely you do. And the more that you practice that, then the easier it gets. I've been doing that for since 1998. So that's about 24 years, isn't it? I've been doing that for 24 years, right? So when you first start, then it's helpful to go into a meditative state. But after you've been doing it for a really long time, it's second nature, and you can just easily move your consciousness there. But to begin with, it's like you have to retrain yourself, because nobody teaches you to do this. Nobody in our culture on this time on earth, teaches a young child how to do this. So you're used to holding your consciousness completely differently. So meditation, absolutely. And the other reason meditation is because meditation will tune out the physical reality. It will tune out the physical world. And when you close your eyes and turn within, then that enables you to focus on the non-physical world, on the spiritual world. And your third eye is for seeing the spiritual world. Your third eye is for seeing the non-physical world. It's not for seeing the physical world. Your physical eyes are the organs, the sensory organs for seeing the physical world, and they have a certain bandwidth of wavelengths and frequencies that they're capable of detecting. But your third eye will detect a different bandwidth of energies, a broader bandwidth of energies. And so meditation helps you just, at least to begin with, not be distracted by what's going on a physical level.
So Amanda was, I think I misunderstood Amanda's question. She says, I'll read her question again. She says, could someone's eyes look different? And then she said, when I said third eye, she said, no, their eyes, the two eyes everyone sees. So I'm not exactly sure what she meant. So I've asked her to be a little more explicit on that question for you, Dr. Leslie, unless you understand.
Well, she might be asking when people are activating their clairvoyance, do their eyes look different? Or she might be asking when people get possessed, do their eyes look different? Because sometimes they can in that second circumstance. Well, so what will often happen when people are reading clairvoyantly from trance is actually their eyes will roll up and back, so you'll see the whites of their eyes. Especially people when they're first learning. So when I'm in trance, you can't tell the difference really. I'm still looking at you, my blue eyes are looking at you. But I know many years ago when I was training, quite often we would, the eyes roll back in the head sometimes. So the eyes can look different in that sense when you're centering, using your clairvoyance and in a trance state.
She's giving me a little bit more on that. She says, my partner's energy shifts on a regular basis. Theirs was an intimate moment when her eyes looked very different.
Can you read that again, eyes?
Okay, she says, my partner's energy shifts on a regular basis. There was an intimate moment when her eyes looked very different. So she's actually asking about,
Well, when you are intimate with your partner, and this is true often in the first stages of a relationship. In the first stages of a relationship, there can be such a feeling of love, and both partners are in a state that is elevated, high vibration state, feeling connected with your divine self, actually, before they start annoying you and you start judging them and criticizing them and all of that. And so those early stages, they can be, people can feel sort of on top of the world, and it's because they are more connected with the divine, with their own higher being. And so somebody's eyes in that case might look clearer, they might look more present, like you're really looking into their soul.
Hello.
Hello.
Was that it?
Yes.
I thought it's sort of like you stopped almost in like half a sentence, I thought. Okay, so, and Julia says, hi, the only time I've accessed this has been when not trying to. Any tips to do this without meditating?
Well, so Julia says the only time she's accessed this is without trying.
Yeah, when not
Does she
trying
mean
to.
her clairvoyance?
I would think her third eye, accessing her third eye, her clairvoyance, yeah.
Any tips on how to do this without So okay, Julia, I don't know whether if you're accidentally having it happen and all fall into place, that's great. How to do it without meditating. I can do it in a way without meditating, but like I was just explaining a couple of minutes ago, if you are not used to sitting in the center of your head and in the center of your sixth chakra, which is how all the ancient mystery schools have trained their clairvoyance and how I train my clairvoyance, then meditation is really helpful to train you into doing that. Now, can you move into the center of your head and access your clairvoyance readily and quickly without going, oh, hang on a minute, I'm just going to meditate? Yes, I mean, I can do that, but I've been doing this stuff for about 24 years. So I think if you're a beginner, if you're just starting out, I would highly recommend meditation. All of my psychic development training courses are focused on meditation and getting yourself into a particular state of consciousness and awareness as a way to access your psychic abilities.
I think the word there is, sorry, I think the word there is process. You know, even when you look at some of the people channeling some of the entities, they have a process to get into that trance mode to channel. They don't all go into necessarily meditation, but I'm sure a lot of it starts as some form of meditation to
Yes.
access that mode.
Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham, meditated for a year before she even started channeling Abraham. And, you know, I think that sometimes people, I heard somebody, I don't know if it was on another podcast or I read it, and they were talking about McDonald's spirituality, where these days everybody wants a quick fix. You know, they want to get their burger and here it is. I want my clairvoyance and here it is. Give me a quick fix. And there isn't a quick fix. It's less like going to McDonald's and getting your instant order, and more like going to the gym and training to create the body that you want. If you want to develop your clairvoyance, if you want to access it at will, then it's necessary for you to put some focus on that, put some time, put some passion behind it, because that's kind of what it takes, for sure. Practice.
Practice makes perfect, I guess, in a sense. But it's the same as anything else. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. It takes time to develop. You can do. I mean, you can access the pineal gland and your third eye almost instantaneously in a way. You know, like it's very quick through that meditation. That meditation isn't long. That you do.
No.
That guided meditation is not very long, but it's the repetitive nature takes time to practice, just like anything else. I mean, when you see people knitting, you know, they're sitting there talking to you and they're knitting at the same time. The first time they knit, they weren't doing it in that, you know, form, right?
And also I find, you know, that on the one hand, that meditation gives you the secret. On the other hand,
Yeah.
The Unlock Your Intuition course, which is primarily a clairvoyance training course amongst other things, but over that 8 weeks, people have the opportunity to be mentored and to really know what they're doing and how to do it. All right, so we'll come back after these messages. Welcome back, everybody. You're tuning into Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Leslie and Corey. And tonight's episode is about the third eye, and it is about clairvoyance.
You just before the break, you were saying that about your course that helps the mentoring and the practical part of the process. And I think one of the major things that happens with people with psychic abilities, and having seen the questions that come to you on a continuous basis, is how do people actually know, right, that how can they learn to trust? How do they know when their psychic abilities are actually working and they're not imagining something? You know?
Exactly. Those are the bit like, am I doing it right? You know, doubting what they're seeing, expecting it to be a certain way. So if you can have a teacher who is helping hold your hand through that learning process and reflecting back at you, whether you are in the center of your head, yes, that is your clairvoyance, or no, actually you're still in your intellect, you're not actually in the center of your head, you know, it can be very, very helpful. And I have people who take that course, and right from the beginning, everything falls into place. And other people, you know, it might take a little bit longer. But I think going it alone is, I think having a teacher is a really, really good thing, because that person knows all of the ins and outs. Like, I've been teaching this stuff for such a long time. I've taken 20 groups through the Unlock Your Intuition course. I've been asked so many questions about centering, just centering. We have 2 modules all about centering. And so it's good to be able to have someone help troubleshoot for you if you're not getting the results that you want to be getting.
Very true. Okay. Next question is from Carol. Carol says, does it take time and more practice to see things more clearly? Things are still a bit blurry and not like clear image which leave me like, let me try that again. Things are still a little bit blurry and not like clear images, which leave me feeling like I'm guessing what it is. That's a little bit about what similar to what I was just talking about.
It can take more practice, and it can take working through the things that are getting in your way. So if your intellect is engaged, then often that will make it more blurry and less clear, because the intellect is doubting. because it's not seeing in the same way that the intellect is used to processing things. But also, in my courses, I teach you how to properly clean and clear and balance your chakras and your psychic screen and all the different parts of your energy system that are relating to your clairvoyance. So sometimes we can have foreign energy. We can pick up the energy of people that we're reading, and if you don't know how to clear it out, then that can make everything look fuzzy and be difficult to see. So I always say that it's so important, as well as developing your psychic abilities, to be constantly healing yourself and clearing yourself at the same time.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Leslie. This is a question from Dee. Dee says, hello. That was what I thought she meant too, with regard to her. This is about the eyes. I have seen people whose pupils enlarge when they are in a deep trance. Her eyes look very dark because of her pupils being enlarged. It's one way of looking at it. And this is from Julia. An altered state. Yes, is this my natural ability coming through? I have been out of body. I've had out of body experiences too, and looked down on myself.
So the question is this my natural ability?
Yeah.
The short answer is yes. But yes, it's your natural ability. We all have this natural ability. We are spirit. We are not our bodies, we are spirit. And as spirit, we see with our clairvoyance. And so, yes, it is your natural ability coming through. And you have actually demonstrated that, because if you, in your out-of-body state, are able to look down on your body, how are you seeing your body? Through your clairvoyance. And so when we travel out of the body, you know, sometimes we are seeing things, we are hearing things, but that is our spiritual abilities that we are seeing and using to see and hear and know and have those experiences through. Now, so can you access your clairvoyance in the out-of-body state when you're astral traveling? Yes. So why then do we want to come and sit in the body and be grounded in the body? And the answer is because then you're very focused in the moment that your body is in. Because as spirit, you can be anytime, any place, anywhere. And you can access all sorts of information that may or may not be relevant to the now moment that your body is living. And also, if you are wanting to manifest things in your physical life, then you need to have your energy focused within the body, or at least the part of your energy that's meant to be associated with the body.
Thank you very much. This is from Brian. Brian says, a little off topic, but wondering if you could look at something quickly for me, Dr. Leslie. I had a business transaction, a sale I made, but the person sort of concerned me after the fact. Seems like buyer's remorse. I did not know if the feeling I had is intuitive or just fear-based on past experience. If it's just general concern, or is this someone that could be trouble for me? I was hoping you may have some clarity.
So is Brian saying he was just reading the energy of this person rather than them actually messaging and saying, I'm not happy?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's what it sounds like, yes.
So the question is, can I validate it? Is he making it up, or is it real?
Is it in his mind, or? I understand that coming from a sales background, you sort of go, you know.
Well, what I want to say is, not to hold on to the energy of that, because you make it more likely to. No, Brian says no, he messaged him.
Oh, sorry, Brian, I misunderstood.
So if he messaged you, then he told you how he feels. So I'm not too sure what you're asking me to look at. Do you want to read the question again, Corey?
Yeah, I'll read it again. It says, I had a business transaction, a sale I made, but the person sort of concerned me after the fact. Seems like buyer's remorse. I don't know if the feeling I had is intuitive or just fear based on past experience. If it's just general concern, or is this someone that could be trouble for me? I was hoping you may have some clarity.
It doesn't particularly look like trouble for you, but it does look a little bit like, kind of like deer stuck in the headlights, in that you're both looking at each other and sort of almost stuck in this pattern of looking at each other. So oftentimes, really with anybody, we're all mirrors reflecting back at each other. So, I mean, it feels like there's a way that you've got locked in energetically. And so what I was going to say earlier is to just disengage yourself from it and not focus on your fear that it might be trouble, but let it go as much as you can. It's not clear from what you've said if there's some discussion that you're still resolving about this thing, but one of the things that I teach all my students is to clear what I call matching energies with other people, because otherwise then we get stuck in these patterns. So I think that there's some kind of reflective mirror-like mirroring going on between you and this person, in that you both feel like you've been let down in the past. And so you're both looking at each other feeling potentially dissatisfied with what this other one is about. And so I think the more that you can just let go of that energy on your end, the less likely it is to expand into something worse.
I know, having a history in sales and customer service, that's actually very true, Dr. Leslie. I know what Brian's going through. He's going through this process in his mind, right? And it can be, especially if you're doing big sales, like big ticket items, it takes a long time. And you know yourself, Dr. Leslie, when you were involved in that, it takes a long time to create these sales, and then you get this irky feeling. And I agree with you. I think what we do is it's an intuitive process in one way, but also it's a manifestation in the other way, that the more you think about it, the more it goes through, right? And I think sometimes what happens is our subconscious knows some things that we don't know, and that is, hey, you forgot to do this, or forgot to do that, or forgot to do this, or forgot to say that, or cover this, this issue, or cover this issue, and I guess that's more of a, what would the psychic ability for that be? Claircognizance. You just know something might be going on, like within that realm. It's tough to go that route. Brian says that makes sense. I think we both had an expectation of the sale. I did have a bad experience in the past. Since my body seemed to react more in fear, that's what it was. I do what I can to let it go and clear it. Good.
Yeah, and I think that there's also a matching fear level, actually.
Oh yeah.
Fear of being swindled or something. I don't know. Fear, both of you. So that's part of the locked in energy, is fear.
Buyer's remorse there's not an easy way to overcome buyer's remorse, because it is a natural, it's a natural response to sales. And I presume, Brian, you're talking about a bigger ticket item than just, like a can of peas or something like that. This is from Lori. Lori says, could you please talk about reading the future through dreams? I've had some dreams come true, and now I have some repeating apocalyptic dreams.
Yeah, sure. When you read clairvoyantly from your waking state, you are embedded in a way in this time-space reality. When you're dreaming, you're embedded outside of time and space. So there's no time and there's no space. So whereas we might be able to do something only one way in our waking life, we may try it multiple ways in our dream life to help us decide, how do I want to manifest this? So that's why sometimes we will have experienced life circumstances in a dream, and then lo and behold, that ends up manifesting on the physical level, because you've already practiced, rehearsed that event in the non-physical and then manifested it in the physical. So that's why sometimes we can have dreams like that and they don't manifest, because we've decided, well, I don't need to manifest it. I've already worked through it in my dream. And then sometimes we will have it and it will manifest. And so yeah, absolutely. You can have prophetic dreams. You can have precognitive dreams. You can have dreams. And so, and that explanation that I just gave you is talking more about on a personal level. Like when I was in business, I used to dream business meetings before I had them, meet people before I met them, all in my dreams. And it was setting me up for the physical reality experience. But you can also have precognitive dreams where you are tapping into world events, like you're saying you're having now apocalyptic dreams. And again, the same thing, that sometimes they might come true. I have had dreams like that where they've come true. Like I dreamed about an airline crash a couple of times actually, and then it happened within a couple of days. But I've also had dreams of an airline crash where it didn't come true. So again, and often what we're doing when we're asleep is we're tapping into the collective unconscious. We're sort of taking the temperature and flavor of the collective unconscious. And there is a lot of things going on our planet right now. You've got the stuff going on in Russia and the Ukraine and those disturbances in Europe. Apparently, there's, I caught wind of something today that there's a disagreement between the US and China about Taiwan. So we've got all of these threatening apocalyptic type of things in our mass consciousness. So I think you're probably just taking the temperature of that. And the best thing that you can do is, when you're awake, focus on the idea of the kind of world that you want to live in, and don't feed your energy into these apocalyptic scenarios, because that way you're not contributing to that reality forming. Anyway, unfortunately, that's the end of the show, but thank you all for joining, and we will see you next week.
for another chakra.
Yes.
Any idea, Dr. Leslie?
Did we do the crown chakra yet?
Yeah, we did the crown chakra first week. I
Well,
think the only one left is the throat chakra.
and the second. Yeah, so let's do the throat chakra.
Okay, throat chakra next week, folks. Bye-bye. Take care, everyone.
Hi, everybody.